We'll start with the prayers. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Our study of Taittriya Upanishad with Shankara Bhashyam continues today. We are studying the first Anuvaka. The verses in Taittriya Upanishad are in paragraph form. Therefore, in Sanskrit, they are called as Anuvakas. There are 9 sections in chapter 2. And the total number of Anuvakas or mantras is 31. So chapter 2 has got 31 Anuvakas. We are in the first Anuvaka, which consists of 3 shlokas. We are in the first shloka. Okay, so in short, out of 31 verses, we are in the first verse, so that you know where we stand and what we are studying. Taittriya Upanishad is one of the most profound Upanishads which give the meaning of who am I in a very beautiful manner. We have studied how this Upanishad talks about the Pancha Koshas, the 5 coverings: Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, Anandamaya Kosha. These are the 5 dresses which all of us wear. If this is a dress, who am I? That is the question which you should ask. The dress is normally worn by the jiva, by the indweller, spiritual entity in this body. That jiva thinks today that it is the body. The correction of this misconception is called as Brahma Vidya, which we get from the Upanishads. Brahma Vidya means the jiva, who is the indweller in this body, discovers his new nature which he didn't know. That nature, that new discovery, once it is completed, the destination where the jiva reaches is called as Brahman. I'm trying to put it in some form so that you are able to reach and you are able to see who you are today and what is the correction which you need. We are all born with this manufacturing defect that we don't know who we are. Normally, a person will never ask this question. 99.9% of the people will go through the notion that they are the body-mind complex. Birth to death, we only think about this as our nature. Very rare, very few rare people. According to Vivek Chudamani, very, very rare number of people who have got some punyam in their account, who have done some meritorious activities in their previous births. Very, very rare. They will ask this question. Or through some method, they come into the lap of Upanishads. The job of the Upanishad mother, which is called as Shruti Mata, is to take this child and teach him Brahma Vidya. So we are all fortunate to study this in our busy schedule. We have finished 46 topics in the first shloka. The first shloka itself, Shankaracharya writes a very long commentary. For sake of understanding, I broke it up into small topics, and I have given the actual translation of what Shankaracharya has commented in these slides. I have circulated the notes. Today I have sent you second volume. There are about 6 or 7 volumes of notes for this Upanishad. Each volume about 200 pages. Don't forget, it is Shankaracharya's commentary on the Taittriya Upanishad. It's a very rare to come across a session where you can learn Shankara Bhashyam. Because this is very, very profound, and it is a direct method of teaching to tell us that we are not the body and we are not the mind. This is a very, very profound teaching. It is not a simple teaching. Very profound. It goes to the core of our personality. What we are studying is the first Anuvaka, and in that we have come to the 47th topic. This is an extremely important topic because it has got a great significance in understanding our real nature. The Upanishads, in various Upanishads, you will find in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, in Mandukya Upanishad, in Taittriya Upanishad, most of the Upanishads you will find that Brahman is revealed as Paramarthika Satyam. Satyam means truth. The truth of this world can be broken into 3 parts. One is called as Paramarthikam, second is called as Vyavaharika Satyam, and the third is called Pratibhasika Satyam. You should understand these as 3 different planes of consciousness, of awareness. That is the first thing you should remember. When we say Satyam, in this transactional field, it is called as Vyavaharika Satyam. The waking state is Vyavaharika Satyam, transactional reality, empirical reality. It is real for the waker, but it is not real for the dreamer. The dreamer does not take the waking world as real. He thinks that the dream world is real. And the sleeper does not understand, does not have the knowledge of neither waking or dream. The sleeper has his own world. And what is the sleeper's world? I don't know anything. That is his world. The world of ignorance. So, Vyavaharika Satyam means the waking state. Pratibhasikam means the dream state, the dream world. It is real for the dreamer and it is a relative reality. Why do we call it a relative reality? Because from waking, you go to sleep, you get into a dream, again come from the dream, you come into waking. So it is relative. It is not there in the other state. Now, Upanishads, all these three are known to us. Vyavaharika Satyam, Pratibhasika Satyam is known to us. All of us are aware of it. Only thing, we are just giving a name to it. The waker is called as Vyavaharika. The dreamer is called as Pratibhasika. Now, the Upanishad is telling us that neither the waker, neither the dreamer is the right knowledge. I am a waker, I am a dreamer, I am a sleeper is a misconception, adhyasa, according to Vedanta. The dreamer, the waker, the sleeper, they are all having two problems. The first problem is that there is ignorance about Brahman, the higher nature. The second problem is they project a thought in their mind and they say they believe that thought which they have in their mind is the truth. That thought is, I am the waker. That notion, I am the waker, I am enjoying the waking state, and this is the real state, and there is nothing beyond this state. According to Vedanta, this is a misconception, and this is called as adhyasa. Two words, try to understand. Because this will be very much used in Mandukya Upanishad. On these two words, the whole Upanishad is revealed in Mandukya. Ajnanam and Adhyasa. Ajnana means ignorance. But ignorance of what? Ignorance of I am of the nature of Brahman. I am of the nature of pure consciousness, pure awareness. So the Upanishad tries to correct this misconception in all the jivas and makes him free from samsara. What is the meaning of samsara? Repeated, one simple meaning of samsara means dukkha, sorrow. All of us know what the sorrow is because we are all experts in that. We know, when we all have experienced sorrow in life, sometime in our life. So samsara means sorrow in simple words, but samsara according to Vedanta means it is repeatedly taking birth and into a new body. It is a cycle. I leave one body, take another body. I drop one body, take another body. This is proved by the Shastra. It is a pramana. Shastra is the pramana for rebirth. So, having understood Vyavaharikam and Pratibhasikam, now you should try to understand what is Paramarthikam. Once I have dropped the notion, I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am not a jiva. Then who am I? I am the sakshi of this waking state. Understand this very, very carefully. Very important point in Vedanta. If you miss this point, you miss the whole Upanishad. Catch it. I am the waker is a misconception. I am the witness of the waking mind is the correction. I am a dreamer is a misconception. I am the witness of the mind which is dreaming is the correction. I am the sleeper is a misconception. I am the witness of the sleep state of the mind is a correction. I am an individual with 5 koshas is a mistake. I am the witness of the body and mind which is appearing as the 5 koshas is the correction. I am experiencer of the 3 states is a misconception. I am the witness of the mind which is undergoing 3 states is the correction. Last point. I have 3 bodies, gross body, subtle body, causal body. Is a misconception. I am the witness of these 3 bodies is the correction. Okay, so now you have understood Vedanta very clearly. All the time, what is common is I am the witness, I am the consciousness, I am the awareness, I am the Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahman. That word Brahman is just to indicate to you so that you can arrive, your mind can arrive at that reality. Taittriya Upanishad uses the word Mayeva Sakalam Jatam, Mayi Sarvam Pratishtitam. Mayi Sarvam Layam Yati. The one who knows this Brahman is ever free. Because this is the reality. This is immortal. This is ever existent in this world. This is the only thing which exists all the time, past, present, future. What is it? In simple word, in Sanskrit, the Upanishad calls it Brahman. Let us also call it Brahman, and that happens to be my real nature. Knowing this, I'm free. Knowing this, my sorrow ends. Knowing this, I do not have rebirth. This is the promise of the Upanishads. It's not what I am telling you, but this is what is promised by the Upanishad. Okay? Please understand the significance of these 3 Satyams. If you have understood the 3 Satyams in the last 15 minutes, whatever I have explained, if you have understood and you can meditate on that, contemplate on that, You don't require anything else. You are free. Your intellect will understand the meaning of Brahman. If you have not understood, please ask me at the end of today's session, put a chat. I can explain to you again. But usually what happens is, when we first hear about these three Satyams, it just comes in a small percentage of this knowledge trickles into our intellect. We don't get the full significance. But when we hear again and again this truth of Paramarthika Satyam and add logical reasoning for this Satyam, then we can hold on to that as our real nature. That is why we need to continue our study of the commentary on this Upanishads. Shankaracharya uses this reasoning in every Upanishad. In every Upanishad, we will be discussing these three things: Paramarthikam, Vyavaharikam, Pratibhasikam. Ajnanam, Adhyasa. Remember the 5 terms. These are 5 Sanskrit terms, but they have a very deep significance. When we now come to the second verse, the second Anuvaka, Shankaracharya is introducing the second Anuvaka at the end of the first Anuvaka. He has written the commentary of the first Anuvaka. We will see the summary of that shortly. He is now introducing to us what is the second Anuvaka, what is it regarding. This second Anuvaka is the creation being explained by the Upanishads. This Brahmatma, this pure consciousness, is the Karanam for the entire creation. That is how the whole creation is presented by Taittriya Upanishad and many other Upanishads. From this Brahmatma alone, creation starts. And this is the second Anuvaka mantra, Tasmat va etasmat Atmanaha Akasha Sambhutaha. This is what is the second Anuvaka. We are going to discuss this also in very great detail. I will explain to you as we go across, but right now what I want to only tell you is that this pure consciousness is the Jagat Karanam. And what is the Jagat? What is the world? World is a product and Brahman is the cause. That is how initially for a junior student, the Upanishad starts the dialogue of explaining what the student is experiencing in the world. Brahman is Abhinna Nimitta Upadana Karanam. What is the meaning of this word? Abhinna Nimitta Upadana Karanam. Abhinna means it is a changeless cause, intelligent cause, and the material cause of this creation. Changeless. It never changes. It always exists. On this only the whole world comes and goes. So Brahman is the material, he is also the maker. He is the material cause as well as the intelligent cause. He is the goldsmith and also the gold. He is the potter and also the clay. So when we understand this Satchidananda principle, which is the Karanam, the cause of this world, we should understand it is both the material cause and the intelligent cause. The creation has got two states. One is avyakta, another is vyakta. Vyakta means manifest. Panchabhutas and mayas are experienced. Avyakta means the same Panchabhutas, they become undifferentiated form in our sleep state. See, the whole principle is from the core of our personality, which is the Sakshi. How do I see this creation? With reference to the Sakshi, the creation is manifesting, unmanifesting. It is not a production. Like you don't, like it's not like a producing a pot. It is like the dream. The whole dream world comes, manifests, and it goes away. Similarly, the waking state comes, it goes away. And what is the cause of this? There is a power which is called as Maya. The Shakti of that Brahman is the cause of this manifestation and unmanifestation. So Brahman is the maker, he is also the material. The material is called as Maya Upadhi. Whenever we take Brahman as the Nimitta, the intelligent cause, he's taken it as a consciousness principle. So Upadhi, the material by which the whole world comes about, is called as Maya. Maya means what? Like the clay is for the pot, Maya Shakti, the power which exists in this Satchidananda principle, is the material cause. And if the same Maya is also the intelligent cause. Normally, the material cause will change. When it changes, it is called as Parinami Upadana Karan. When it is changeless, it is called as Vivarta Upadana Karan. What is the example of Parinami Upadana Karanam? For example, suppose you want to convert milk into curd. The whole milk turns into curd. That is a complete change. Milk is destroyed and you get curd in the morning, yogurt. A seed gets destroyed, it becomes the tree. And both are in the same order of reality. Suppose you change the ring into gold into a ring or a bangle or a chain. It is not a complete destruction of the gold, but it is a change in the name and the form. You change the form of the gold, you call it a ring or a necklace or a chain. So try to remember, this is how slowly we have to understand this whole creation, so that when you are trying to ask the question, how am I the Sakshi? All this will help us to make our mind subtle to understand the concept of Sakshi. Brahman is Vivarta Upadana Karanam. Vivarta Upadana Karanam, it is the changeless. It is the changeless material cause for the world. How? Can you give an example? The waker himself is the material cause for the dream world. But the waker doesn't change 100%. The dream world is just projected and it comes back to the waker. The waker remains the same. Similarly, Brahman remains the same. He projects this waking world and then takes back the waking world into himself. Okay? Brahman is supposed to be the absolute existence principle. The world is relative principle. It is of a lower order of reality. Okay, so this, if you have understood it, a very important point, but this is something which will be useful to you when we understand the creation as we go by in this second mantra. Vivarta upadana karanam means the rope. Rope is not changing, but we are understanding it wrongly as the snake because of the ignorance. Similarly, because of our ignorance about the higher nature, which can exist by itself, which is independent, which is Satchidananda, because of our ignorance of that, we take this baker as our personality, baker as our real personality. So for waking world, the support or assistant of this Mula Avidya. Mula Avidya means what? Ignorance about the higher nature. That ignorance is called as Maya Shakti. Suppose I come to know that I am this Brahman. Suppose, take for example, I know. Then what happens? I will not be affected by the world. That's all. The waking world will come and go. As long as the body is there, the waking world will come and go. But the notion that I am the waker will not be there. What will be the notion? I am the Sakshi. I am the witness of this world. Murtha and Amurtha. See, there are many technical terms which Shankaracharya in his commentary brings about. These are all technical terms, and we need to understand these technical terms so that we are able to come to the ultimate knowledge that I am the Brahman. The goal you should understand that the final goal is what? To realize I am the consciousness principle, which is the witness of this entire Jagat. Space, air are amurtya dravyam. Amurta means it is invisible. It doesn't have form. Whereas fire, water, earth, they are murta prapancha. They are embodied with form. These five elements are born out of Brahman. So there are two elements which are invisible. What are the two invisible elements? Space and air. What are the visible elements? Earth, fire, water. From this pure consciousness, they say in the second mantra of the Upanishad that five elements are born. Born means what? They manifest, unmanifest. Manifest, unmanifest. But what doesn't change? The Karanam. Gold never changes. Gold remains the same. Brahman remains the same. Consciousness remains the same, but the world changes, the people change, the body changes, the minds change. Okay, so what is brought about in this particular Murta Amurta, you should remember, is that these five elements are the Upadhi, the material cause for this appearance of this world. Karya Karana Sambandha. What is Karya Karana Sambandha? Brahman is the Karanam. The Panchabhutas are the Karya, the products. That is what you should understand. The next point is grossification of the Sukshma Bhutas into Sthula Bhutas. We have seen this before, that first what was created is the Sukshma, the subtle form of these five elements. And then there was a process called as Panchikaranam, by which you get the gross five elements. Okay, these are all points to remember in creation. The next point is that Oshadhi Srishti, that means the food which is eaten by the human beings and the living beings, whether it is birds, whether it is animals, they all survive on food. That food which is assimilated is the cause of the Purusha Srishti. We have seen the world creation of the whole world of objects, which is inert by nature, that is belongs to the tamasic aspect of the five elements. Then now we are saying that the world which is created is also consists of living beings. But the essence, the seed of the living beings is the food which is eaten. The food which is assimilated by the parents, that becomes the seed. Okay? And that is the cause of the beings. Some more notes are given in this here. The topics which we have discussed so far is what is the definition of Brahman, how can I know I am Brahman, what is the benefit of knowing, and then what is the problem and what is the solution, what is the difference between Satyam and Mithya, then Jnanam. Let me go through this a little bit before we go to the next section. The next section is the starting of the new mantra. And I mean, before we go into the second verse, this is the actual verse. Tasmat vaye tasmat. This is the second verse of the Upanishad of the first chapter, the second verse of the first section. Just before this, I want to summarize what I have taught so far in these 10 points. Okay? So far in our talks of the first Anuvaka, what have we learned? We have learned the following 10 points. Okay, I'm summarizing all what we have learned so far in Taittriya Upanishad Bhashya. The first thing is, what is the definition of this higher nature of mind? The definition is Satyam, Jnanam, Ananta. The second point to understand is, the topic is, how can I know this higher nature of mind? I can only know it as the Sakshi of my mind. Okay? This is what I said, that when the mind is there, there is a misconception. When the mind is there, where? Mind is there in waking, mind is there in dream, mind is there in sleep, but in a passive condition. So when you try to come to Vedanta, you should be at least knowledgeable to know your mind. To what extent? To the extent that the mind is awake in the waking state, semi-awake in the dream state, and not awake in the sleep state. You must have this discrimination in your intellect. This is the basic understanding of the mind. There are many, many understandings of the mind which is given in the Veda. What are the projections which happen in the mind? What is the nature of the mind? Very beautifully discussed in the Bhagavad Gita. It is discussed in Yoga Shastras also. What are the impurities in the mind, like layaha, sleep, then vikshepa, projections. Third one, laya, is kashaya, means it is an impurity of the vasanas in the mind. These are all the impurities in the mind. I have to clear these impurities to understand my real nature. Okay. So the benefit of knowing this higher nature is this higher nature is the only immortal thing in this universe. Immortal means what? It never ceases to exist. All of us inertly, we all want to be always exist forever. Even a 98-year-old man, if you ask him, he will say, I would like to live another 100 years. Because that happens to be his nature. He wants to go back to his nature. He doesn't know how. He doesn't know how to know that the nature of his is immortal. It never dies. At the core of our personality, if you really close your eyes and say, I am, and stop with I am, that I am never ceases to be. That is the revelation of the Upanishads. If I stop with that I am, you are liberated. If you say I am the waker, I am the dreamer, I am the sleeper, I am the mother, I am the father, I am the son, I am the brother, all this is misconception. And they all come about in the waking state. Misconception after misconception, this is what is called as ignorance. Suppose I know I am the Sakshi. All these misconceptions will start reducing. Immediately, the moment it comes up, immediately you will know it's a misconception. It's a misconception. Your mind will get the agility to keep on looking at yourself as the witness. Not as the mother, not as a son, not as a daughter. You will still play the roles of the mother and the father and the sister. In this Vyavaharika world, in the waking world, you will be forced to play the role because of prarabdha vashat. Prarabdha karma will push you to act in the world. But your knowledge of Paramarthika Satyam, I am the absolute principle, will never go away if you have studied Taittriya Upanishad. The second point out of the 10 points which I want to summarize is Brahman is not karma phalam but jnana phalam. This is also a very important point when we study Vedanta. I see now when I'm doing the Bhashyam, I am taking it with all technical aspects of Vedanta. All. When I do the commentary, we have to go through the technical Vedanta topics. We cannot avoid. And these technical Vedantic topics are extremely important if you want to study an Upanishad thoroughly. If you want to have a simple meaning, you just read the meaning. There are many talks available in the internet where you can just see the meaning and go forward to the next meaning, of the next verse, but not go into the technical aspect. If you go through the technical aspect, you will get the real benefit of this knowledge. The real benefit, as I explained to you, is you will know that you are immortal. Amritangamaya, Vedantika Upanishad, Asatoma Sadgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityoma Amritangamaya. There, Amritam means Brahman. Know that your nature is pure consciousness and become free. So, knowledge is important when you come to Brahma Vidya. It is knowledge. Vidya means knowledge. Karma means action. The anatma is always involved in action. Your all the karma indriyas are always involved in the action. Morning you get up, you go for a walk, you do the cooking, you go to the office, you perform an operation in the theater, you fight a case in the court, you do so many actions. But by doing action, you cannot get Brahma Vidya. Brahma Vidya is Jnana Phalam. Karma Phalam means you can get only 4 types of results from any action. Apti, Utpatti, Vikara, Samskara. I have gone through this in my previous talks. Apti means reaching a place. I travel and reach a destination. That is karma phalam. I produce something. I produce a pot. I produce a ring. This is utpatti. I produce food, grains. From the grains I get produced for the world. Vikara, modifications. I can change so many things in this world. Modifications, right from our thoughts onwards. Samskara. Samskara means purification. I polish something and I can create the polished surface. Gold can be polished. Samskara means it is the impressions which basically samskara means you can change. Okay. So these are the only things which are possible, 4 things which are possible by action. But jnanam is knowledge. It is meant for the intellect to understand. And when you understand, you become free. So Brahma Vidya means that is why we emphasize so much on the classes. It is class after class after class. For the last 8-10 years, I've been taking so many sessions. Over 300-400 sessions I've taken. Now it is knowledge. See, it's a transfer of knowledge. That is what is Brahma Vidya. So you should understand the difference between Karma Phalam and Jnana Phalam. And it can be realized. It is a Drishta Phalam. For example, when you become free of sorrow, you will know it. Many people come and tell me, after these sessions I've been attending for so many years, I can see a change in me. I can see that my sorrow has dropped. Not become zero, but it has dropped. That is what is Drishta Phalam. Experiential benefit. Okay. The next problem, the next point we have to understand is, when I want to know this Brahman, the problem is I am ignorant about it. So ignorance is a very big darkness. It is a very big bottleneck in my intellect. The only way ignorance can go is through knowledge. Solution is jnanam. Problem is ignorance. When you come to the study of these classes, this point should be very clear. I don't know who I am, which is called as ajnanam. I want to find a solution. Therefore, I want knowledge. Therefore, please teach me this Brahma Vidya. This is how almost all the students who come to Brahma Vidya in the Upanishads, you see how the students come and ask for Brahma Vidya, and they are very clear what they want and where they can get it. The next point is the third point in my 10 points. Try to remember and go through these 10 points. Revise these 10 points so that your clarity of knowledge becomes very powerful. Satyam and Mithya. I have explained this before. Satyam means Trikale Apitishtam. It is there in the past, it is there now, it will be there in the future. When I say I am Satyam, it means I am referring to the consciousness aspect, which is there in my sleep state. It continues. Only thing is, if there is a medium of the body, I can say I am consciousness. But without the body or the mind, I still am conscious. How do I know this Satyam? First of all, I negate everything from my personality. Bakerhood, dreamerhood, sleeperhood, motherhood, fatherhood, sisterhood, all these roles I drop. Neti, neti. When I drop all this, it is not nothingness, but it is Brahman. We have seen this point during the last few sessions. There was a Puro Bakshi opponent who came and said, when I remove everything, I see only nothing. But then we discussed this point in detail and he said, this nothingness is what we call as Brahman. It is not nothingness, but it is Brahman. What about the world in which there is a Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara? According to Vedanta, the world is mithya. Mithya means it appears, disappears. It doesn't, it is dependent reality. It depends on the reality which is Satyam Jnanam Anantam for its existence. Okay, that is the definition of mithya. All these are very important points when we try to understand the supreme truth. Then we come to jnanam portion. We have seen what is the how to see Satyam in the previous point. Now, in this point, I want to focus on the jnanam aspect. When we discuss jnanam in these 7-8 sessions, we found that there is a difference between Sarupa Jnanam, Vritti Jnanam. Vritti Jnanam means whenever my mind is there, whatever knowledge it is getting in the waking state or the dream state, when the mind is awake or semi-awake, that knowledge is called as Vritti Jnanam. Jnanam, knowledge produced because the mind is the upadhi, is the medium. What about Sarupa Jnanam? The Sarupa Jnanam is the intrinsic nature. It is like the heat of the fire is not incidental. It is the heat is the intrinsic nature of the fire. But heat in the water is the incidental nature. You heat it, it becomes hot. After 1 hour, it becomes cold. So for the water, heat is not the intrinsic quality. For the fire, heat is the intrinsic quality. Similarly, for all the bodies, all the minds, the intrinsic quality is the consciousness, the awareness. It will never go. It will always be there. But the thoughts about the world will come and go. Yesterday you were dreaming something. Yesterday you were in the transactional field, working in the office, got some problem solved. Tomorrow again, another new problem will come. This is what is called a transactional knowledge. Vritti Jnanam. What is Swarupa Jnanam? The knowledge that I am Chaitanyam. It is not an action. It is the knower by mere presence. There is no process involved in the case of Swarupa Jnanam. Nirvikara Swarupa Jnanam is Chaitanya. Nirvikara means what? It doesn't undergo change. At any time. Sleeper, he is also conscious. Dreamer, he is also conscious. Waker, he is also conscious. Consciousness doesn't change, but the mind changes. This consciousness governs by mere presence. It is, and the world comes. It is, and the world goes. That is how we have to see creation. See, these are all extremely deep topics. I'm taking it a very great depth. I'm explaining to you the very nitty-gritties of Vedanta. If you understand this, then I am immortal is very, very easy. Brahman is the Atma of the universe. Atma means inner content of what? Of the whole universe. It is not the inner content of one body. That is Vyashti, individual. But Brahman, consciousness, existence, bliss principle, limitless principle is the Atma of the entire creation. That is why in the next verse, in the second verse, we will say, from this Atma, the whole world comes and the whole world resolves. The whole Srishti is explained in the next verse. But for that, you need this basic information about Atma, about this Brahman. Brahman is known only in the cave of the intellect. Suppose you want to say, you come and you ask the Guru, I want to understand who I am. Can you give me one mantra I will chant and I can know? No, it's not possible. The mantra chanting will help you to purify your mind. But you have to come to the Guru to understand how you can know your nature as Satyam Jnanam Anam. And where do you get this knowledge? You don't get it in any other place except the intellect. And this knowledge is available in the Upanishads. You understand the meaning of the Upanishads and you will get this knowledge in your own intellect. Three Satyams I have discussed just recently in this talk today. The ninth point is Brahman is Anantam. Okay, we have seen Satyam, we have seen Jnanam. Now the last point to see is Anantam. Anantam, I have explained before, means limitlessness. Limitlessness means infinite. Infinite means what? When it comes to time, it is timeless. When it comes to space, it is spaceless. Either you call it spaceless or you say beyond space, beyond time, beyond the objects which you are perceiving in the world. So there is something which is infinite in nature, which is always existing, beyond time, beyond space, beyond the world of objects. That whatever is that is called as Brahman. Okay. So what is the final conclusion of all these 9 points, which is explained in the 10th point? The last point is the ultimate, the culmination of all the 9 points. Brahman is the substratum. It is the adhishtanam. It is the, like gold is the adhishtanam for a ring, bangle, and chain. Like the desk is the adhishtanam for a book to be kept. The desk is a support for keeping the books, or a laptop, or a mobile. Similarly, where do you keep all these things in the universe? Time, space, objects. For all this, the adhishtanam or the adharam, the support of the Jiva, Jagat, and Ishvara is this Brahman. And without this Brahman, there is no creation, there is no manifestation, there is no unmanifestation of the universe. Upanishads reveal this as my intrinsic nature. And by claiming that this is my nature, I can be free. That is what is called as moksha. That is what is called as the real self. What is the unreal self? I'm a mother, I'm a father, I'm a sister. These are all incidental, but not real. The real self is Aham Brahma Asmi. Okay, so that is the end of the first Anuvaka of Taittriya Upanishad, the first mantra of the second chapter of the first section. This is the essence behind the whole Taittriya Upanishad. The entire Upanishad consisting of the second chapter and the third chapter. Second chapter has got 30 other verses. Third chapter has got more verses, but the essence behind all this is this, what we have discussed so far. The second mantra, I have broken it up into a few points which I have made notes and I have circulated. It is not complete, but I have made notes for, say, 22 points. Okay? And all this is the second chapter. It goes on it goes on for some of the verses of the second chapter. I will explain to you as we go ahead. What I have put together here is a summary of the topics. I will just explain to you the topics, and then slowly then you will understand what are all these points to be elaborated. In the second verse, Tasmat Vai Brahman means from this Brahman, which the whole creation comes. That is why it is called as Jagat Karanam. From that Karanam, Akasha is the first Karya, space. And the attribute of the space is sound. Vayu is born out of Akasha. From Vayu, Agni is born. From Agni, Jalam is born, water. From water, Prithvi is born. Up to 7th mantra, this is what is stated. Up to the 7th topic. Food is born out of Prithvi, out of the earth. The seed comes from the food. The seed for the child comes from the food which the mother or the father has eaten. And then food is the karanam for the child's production. That is up to the 8th topic. Then comes the Pancha Kosha Viveka. What is the Annamaya Kosha? All that will come. Pancha Kosha starts from this 9th section, 9th topic. Then it also talks about why human beings are so special, because they can realize their nature as Brahman. What is the significance behind this Panchakoshas, Annamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha? All that will come. And so Pranamaya, introduction to Pranamaya is there in the 14th. Then the introduction to Manomaya will come. And similarly, so many other 5 koshas will come, one after the other. So what I will do is, I will just take some of the important topics, and then some topics which is easy to understand, I will explain to you a little bit, and then I'll skip those portions so that we can complete most of the sections quickly. This verse, Tasmat Va E Tasmat, now we are starting with the second mantra. Today I will take up a few sections and then we'll stop. Tasmat Va E Tasmat Atmanah Akasha Sambhutaha Akashat Vayuhu Vayor Agnihi Agnerapah Adapya Prithibhi, Prithibhya Oshadaya, Oshadebhyo Annam, Annat Purushaha, Sava Esha Purushontara Samayaha. Okay. So, the description of this verse is given here. From this Brahman or Atma, space was born. From space, air was born. Air was born. Then water was born. Then earth was born. Fire was born. Earth was born. So this is the Srishti, the steps involved in Srishti, Krama Srishti. See, only when you come to Vedanta, Vedanta describes creation in this format. This is a model of creation in this Upanishad. And a very unique model. And it is believable that, this is the way. Why does the Upanishad present this model? See, the basic principle behind this model is, you should understand, our mind should be able to manifest the creation, unmanifest the creation. This agility of the mind will come when you see creation in this format. Your mind should think, oh, from this space only air has come. From air, this fire has come. From fire, this water has come. From water, the earth has come. From the earth is this, all the food. When my mind goes in this format, it becomes subtle. It learns to go deeper into itself. Okay? If you have any questions, please jot them down. You can ask me at the end of the session. The first topic is Tasmat Vai Brahman. Why Tasmat? Because whatever we have explained in the first sloka as that reality, don't forget that reality is the truth behind the whole universe. It's the truth behind you, it's the truth behind me, it's the truth behind every living being in this universe. And Etasmat, it is saying Tasmat. Tasmat means remote. From that, this has come. This means what? Whatever my eyes can perceive as the world. What my eyes cannot perceive is that Brahman, which is that pure consciousness, which is me only, which is my own Swarupa, which is called as Sakshi. From that, this world has come. This is called as Sutra Vakya. This is the introductory seed verse for all the verses which we are going to get in the other sections. Why Brahman is termed as Atma? Brahman is termed as Atma, the inner content. Why? Because it is the Jagat Karanam. It is the Ishvara for creation. Normally, our eyes go upwards whenever we talk about Ishvara. There is a Lord, we say. But when we say that Ishvara, we are trying to we take it as a remote principle. But what the Upanishad wants to convey is that Ishvara is there in the core of our being. By using Atmanaha, Upanishad is saying that creator which is called as Ishvara is the Atma of this body. It is the Atma of this universe which I am perceiving it right now. So to see God, do we need to go anywhere? No. If you understand Upanishads, whatever you perceive outside in the universe is that God. Whatever you see as your body, that itself is God. There is only one God consciousness principle. And that is the inner essence of the entire world. So now you understand the two words, tasmat, etasmat. Tasmat means that reality which we talked in the first mantra is nothing else but this universe which you are seeing as the world before us. The world includes our body also. So Lord is not only in Vaikuntha, not above, not inside, not outside me, but it is me. Claim that consciousness, Lord, as the essence of this body-mind complex. That is why we see in Chandogya Upanishad, the teacher says, Tattvamasi, Tattvamasi. This is what you wanted to know. This is what you wanted to know. 9 times the teacher explains to the student and say, what you wanted to know, Tat, that Lord is nothing but Tvam Asi. You, the consciousness, which is the core of this body-mind complex, which is the Atma of this body-mind complex. It is the Atma of the universe. When you say Atma, it means the inner essence. Like gold is the Atma of all the bangles. Similarly, Brahman or consciousness is the Atma of this entire universe. In Chandogya Upanishad, this Tattvamasi, I have given you an example, one of the verses which comes there. The meaning of this verse is that subtlest self, Atma, of all the universe is this truth, is this Brahman. It is the self. Then the student gets more and more curious. And he says, please explain to me again. Yes, Soumya, I will explain this again to you. The teacher again does not withdraw. He says, okay, don't worry, I will explain one more time. I mean, the student is foxed. He says, how is it possible? Give me another example. Then the teacher gives another example. There are 9 examples given in Chandogya Upanishad. We'll see that Upanishads in our study. So what we are seeing is, you see, this is such a beautiful revelation. This entire Veda reveals this truth, and it's so interesting. You will forget the world and you will enjoy in this revelation. It's the Atma of everyone. The world came from Brahman, which is the core of the entire universe. Okay. Akasha has origination. Akasha has no origination. These are some of the this aspect of whether the world has got origination, world doesn't have origination. This is explained in Mandukya Upanishad. I'm not going to go into the details of that. But what we have to understand in this Upanishad is world has come from this Brahman, and this Brahman is nothing but it is the material cause and the instrumental and the intelligent cause. And we have seen Mundaka Upanishad before this Upanishad. We have seen Mundaka Upanishad, and there we have seen this example, spider example, where the spider is the intelligent cause and the material cause for the web it should create. Similarly, Brahman is what Upanishad says as the Karanam. Brahman is Vivarta Upadana Karanam. Now you will understand, because I've explained to you what is Vivarta. Vivarta means changeless Karanam. Not like the milk and curd, but it is like the gold which becomes the ring. Similarly, Brahman changelessly appears as this universe. Okay, that is what is explained in all these verses. Why Brahman is not like the milk and curd, those details are not so important. What we should understand is, like rope is for the rope snake, like waker is for the dream world. Similarly, Brahman is the adhishtanam for the waking world. This is how you should understand. When we say Vivarta, Upadana Karanam, when we say it is a cause, okay, that is a very technical term. If you don't understand that, just understand cause. What is the cause of rope snake? The cause of rope snake is rope. Without rope, there is nothing called as rope snake. Similarly, without the waker, there is no dreamer. What we have to now derive is, without Brahman, there is no waker or the waking world. Okay, so this explains the creation theory, which is explained in Mandukya chapter 3 in Advaita Prakaranam. In Mandukya Upanishad, this is explained how the dream state, waking state, what are the features of this state. I'm not going to detail, but just the notes are there. If you're interested, you can go through that. Brahman is the highest truth where nothing else is born. In that, see, Mandukya Upanishad has got 4 chapters. 4 chapters, they deal with the 3 states and waking, dream, and sleep. This is the highest Upanishad. Mandukya Upanishad is the highest Upanishad and very, very technical by nature. But if you are, like I said, always don't run away from technicalities or in Vedanta. Try to understand the technical aspect, because then the Vedanta becomes clear. And I'll explain to you a little later about the 3 states and the Mandukya, how it explains and how it reveals the truth. It's very, very beautiful. It's very, very, very different method which is shown in Mandukya Upanishad. And that Upanishad purely bases its whole analysis on one aspect, and that is ignorance. Ignorance is ajnanam. Because of ignorance, I have projections in the mind. Mind projects because I don't know I am that. If I come to know I am that Brahman, the mind's projections will stop and it will soon realize its nature as Sat Chit Anand. Okay, so I will stop here. We will start with the second topic next week. Akasha is Karyam and Brahman is Karan. See, now we are trying to understand the whole creation. We will see all the creation of all the Panchabhutas. Then we will come into the 5 koshas. That is how the progress is as we go by. Okay, so I'll stop here. Next week, I have some other activity going on. Therefore, I will not be having a session next week. Please note this. Next Saturday, there will be no class. The following Saturday, we'll have the class. So one session next Saturday, we will not have Upanishad class because I'm engaged in another activity. I'm not able to take this session. Okay. So don't forget, next Saturday, there is no class. The following Saturday, we'll continue this topic number 2, which is Akasha is Karyam. That means the world is Karyam. Karya means what? Product. What is the Karanam? What is the cause? Satchid Ananda Atma or Brahman. Very beautiful topic. And we'll see Shankaracharya's Bhashyam. These portions which are given in this blog, these are all the Bhashyam notes. So if you are interested to study the Bhashyam, you can just go through whatever here it is the actual translation of what Shankaracharya has written about this particular verse. Okay. All right. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachade Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyade Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. We'll see the chat. I don't see anything in the chat, which is good. If you have any questions, you're free to ask them. Unmute yourself and ask any question or any remarks about what we are discussing. I see one hand up. If you have any question, just you can put your hand up. So I will keep a track of it, and then. Okay, Shanta, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mahoday. This is, I think probably it's just more a clarification. When you came to this point of, topic 1, Tasmai and Brahma Jagat Karyam. So at that time, you mentioned that Brahman is termed as Atma because it is Jagat Karyam, right? And Atma. And so when we want to know God or the Lord, what we say, the Creator, is within us, right? But I was thinking, because we are having the reflected consciousness, so the that is why the Advaitam comes, because there is no me and God, because I am the God is reflecting that light in me and um, waking my mind up. So that is the reason I feel that when the body dies, you know the reflection is gone, and therefore you're Brahman. Is it a right thinking? Because I don't think that there is inside Atma and outside Brahman.
Okay, good. Yes, Shanta, your understanding is correct because your understanding is from the senior students' point of view. The Upanishad takes it at a junior level first. Before going into the higher aspect of understanding it is one Atma, one Brahman behind the whole creation, what you are saying is 100% right, that Brahman alone exists. That is the ultimate lesson which you will also learn from this Upanishad. But in the beginning, the Upanishad makes a compromise to make a student who is at a lower level to come up to the level of reflected consciousness in the mind, and then trying to understand that original consciousness which is always there. That is the right way to understand. You have gone through many sessions, therefore you are able to pick up this point, hold on to this point as the truth. But there is this, what we are going through is another methodology.
Okay, okay. Because I was just thinking whether my understanding was increased.
You are right in your understanding, but take this as one more methodology to arrive at the same, whatever you have arrived through your other method, same method. But we are going through in this Upanishad, in this way of the 5 koshas. How to arrive at the 5 koshas is through the discussion of the world made up of 5 elements and uh, then becoming the 5 koshas, And inside the right koshas, it is the same reflected consciousness in the Anandamaya kosha. Your point will come there.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good. Very good. Very. It's a very deep question. Good. Anybody else has any other question?
It's well said. Well said. It's okay. Good. Shekhar,
Yeah, tell
Shekhar,
me. Yeah, Chandra.
you know this when you say on the bliss, but when you talk about the bliss, in what terms you are using, whether it's from the outside world we get a joy and happiness, or within us.
Okay, good. Your son has answered the question correctly. Okay. See, yeah, basically what it means is, Chandra, is like this. When we are seeing ourselves as the body, with reference to the body, we are looking at the world.
Yeah.
Okay, so your starting point is the body. Then we are looking at the world, then you are saying Ananda or joy is coming from the world. Therefore, it is coming from the world, which is external world. Like example, I eat a nice dish. I like paisa. I like ice cream. I like one dish. There's a joy which is coming from the external world, and then I am enjoying it. So this is what is called as external joy. It is not, this is born out of Vishaya. It is called Vishaya Ananda. It is the joy born out of enjoyment of certain objects in the world. Ultimately, they reach the body through the mind in the form of vritti. Vritti means thoughts. Ultimately, it comes into yourself by way of thoughts, perception of objects, perception of sound. For example, you listen to very nice music and you enjoy the music. So that is all. These are all Vishaya Sukham. But what Vedanta wants to talk is not the Vishaya Sukham, but it is Swarupa Sukham. Swarupa Sukham means the moment I have dropped the world of five koshas or the three states, and then I have used the Upanishad and I have removed the ignorance which I have, then what happens? I am pure consciousness. That pure consciousness is the bliss. That is what the Upanishad is revealing.
Okay.
You're clear?
Yeah, right.
So you have to drop the world and be yourself. In that self, whatever your mind is there, when the mind has dropped all the things in the world, that mind becomes the patram. It becomes the mirror for reflection of that consciousness in the mind. That reflection is what is generally described as the bliss of Brahman. It is experiential Ananda. We can experience that when our mind is quiet. When your mind is quiet and it is not sleeping, you can enjoy the bliss which is called as experiential Sukham. This is possible, but what Upanishad wants to say is drop this experiential Sukham as incidental. It will come, it will go. The moment you will come out, you open your eyes and see the world again. That Sukham which you enjoyed in meditation is gone. Again, you're back to this potential world of sorrow. What then wants to say, what the Upanishad says is, don't stop with that experiential sukham, but go for your Swarupa Sukham.
Real one.
Sukham is what you can say, just claim. Just claim, I am that pure Ananda. It doesn't require anything else. It doesn't require your mind. It doesn't require your body. It doesn't require anything. It accepts only one thing. Just be and say, I am that Sukham. That's it. I am that pure Ananda, and it is there. See, most of us, we don't accept that Brahman exists. But moment you accept that, yes, that is what is the nature of all of us. It is my inner content. It is it is my Atma.
Yeah.
It is Atma of all the human beings. And that is the beauty of this revelation in these Upanishads. It wants us to drop everything and reach that goal. And that is the goal of all the sannyasis. What Vedanta says is, you become a mental sannyasa. Mental sannyasa means drop things with the help of your intellect. You don't need, a grihastha can remain as a grihastha. But mentally, he can say, I am not the thoughts, I am not the roles which I play. Like I explained to you, I am not the waker, I am not the dreamer, I am not the sleeper, I am the sakshi, I am the witness.
Yes. Yeah.
The moment you say witness, what happens? You have dropped all the roles and then you are with your nature. Intrinsic.
Yeah.
Good, very good question. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good. Kanan, can you let me know what you need?
So I have a question. I mean, this topic came up a couple of times today on the topic of ignorance. So I guess my question was, where does this ignorance come from? Or is it the created, produced, right? Because that it seems to be the foundation of a lot of the concerns that we have. And this follow-up to that is, if our own Atma, like we are the Atma, why are we not able to remove our own ignorance? I don't know if that question makes sense. The second part.
No, you are right. Kanan, it's a very deep question. See, ignorance is a topic. It's a very advanced topic in Vedanta. Ignorance, the discussion on ignorance is there in the best book which deals with ignorance is Mandukya Upanishad. Best. It deals with ignorance. In the first chapter of Mandukya Upanishad, there are 29 karakas, that means verses, and there are 12 mantras. I'll explain to you a little bit, but it may not be sufficient. But like I said, that keep this topic rolling in your mind and let answers flow as you study Vedanta. What Mandukya Upanishad says, if you get this point, you will understand ignorance 100%. What Mandukya Upanishad says is, our sleep state is the ignorant state. First lesson of Mandukya Upanishad on ignorance. What is ignorance? Whatever I'm experiencing in my sleep, I don't know anything. I don't know my own self. I don't know who I am. I don't know others also in sleep. That is what is called as ignorance. let your mind dwell on this for a few days. Let your mind sink and understand ignorance is experienced by me, and it is what I am in the sleep state. The second point you should understand regarding ignorance. Ignorance is not about the world which we see in the waking state. Ignorance is about Turiyam. Ignorance is about Brahman. What lies beyond the sleep state. I, the consciousness principle, I, the existence principle, I, the bliss principle, exists, and I don't know that. In the sleep state, I don't know I am that blissful nature called Brahman. This is the second point. Okay, I'm trying to explain to you what is ignorance. This ignorance is also given the term Maya. Many times you listen to Maya, you listen to, there's one more term which is used as sleep. Nidra also is nothing but ignorance. Nidra, sleep. We use the word sleep. The next point. Okay, I'm going step by step so that you understand what is ignorance. In my waking state, I say I am a waker. In the waking state, I say I was a sleeper. I was a dreamer. These three sentences about myself is called as ignorance. Ignorance is of two types. One, I don't know that pure consciousness is my nature. That in Mandukya, they use the term Turiyam. Forget about Turiyam. You know Brahman now. I don't know Brahman is my nature. That I don't know that, and is that ignorance. Ignorance is a very, very big topic. It's a very deep topic. And the moment I say I am a waker, I see the whole in our waking state, as if we are the waker, and that's it. So, but what Upanishad says is you go through the transactions as a waker. That's nothing wrong. But don't say I am the waker. And that is my intrinsic state. Don't make that mistake.
Turn right on up Kadima Road.
That aspect, the moment you say I am the waker, it is called as misconception, or it is called as superimposition. So ignorance and superimposition, these two are the fundamental problems of the human intellect. For all of us, ignorance about the higher nature of mind. Is ignorance a bhava rupam or a bhava rupam? A bhava rupam means it is not, it is a bhava rupam means it is a positive entity. Okay, another question. You wanted to know about ignorance. Is it a positive entity or is it a negative entity? These are all the questions which they raise and answer. In another text, the best things to do is to understand Mandukya Upanishad.
Turn right on up Kadima Road. Turn right on up.
29 verses which will teach you what is ignorance. I can go on and on, but the thing is, time is limited. But I wanted to just give you a feel. But it's a very important topic. What you have touched upon is an extremely subtle topic, and not many places discuss about ignorance. But the best place it is discussed, and a very beautiful way. You see, the moment I start the Mandukya Upanishad, you will love this topic of ignorance, because Shankaracharya writes a brilliant commentary on this ignorance in Mandukya Upanishad. And he will reveal to you as if you reveal, you go through an onion and you remove the peel one by one, and you see the core of the onion. Similarly, Shankaracharya will reveal this ignorance, and he will take peel by peel and he'll say that you are ignorant, this is what it is. You are ignorant, this is what it is. How does the ignorance manifest in the intellect? Ignorance manifests as wrong notions in the intellect. Ignorance is there. It is a positive entity. I don't know my nature. I don't know who I am. Even a 98-year-old man, if he has not studied the Upanishads, he will not know that he is the pure consciousness. How do you remove this ignorance? So ignorance is about Mula Avidya. This is what is called as the ignorance which has been there, according to Veda. It says it's been there in every birth. And now you are come to the place where how you can remove this ignorance. By the study of I am Atma, you can remove this ignorance. The knowledge of Atma, the right clarity of Atma. You must have clarity on Atma. It's not easy, but the moment you have this clarity, ignorance will go away. And once that ignorance is gone, you will say, I am that pure consciousness. It's a fruit of our study. It's a fruit of all the going away of ignorance is the final benefit of our study of Vedanta. It is a positive entity, and the simplest way to understand ignorance is, I think I am an individual in this world, with a body, with a mind. This is the fundamental ignorance. What Upanishad says, you are the spiritual content of this body and mind. You are not the body and mind, you are the spiritual content. The spiritual content is called as Sakshi, witness. It witnesses the rise of the mind. It witnesses the passive mind in the sleep state. One last point. If you want to understand ignorance, understand it is the light of Atma which reveals this ignorance. It is the light of Atma which reveals this knowledge about this whole waking world, dream world, and the sleep world. The Atma is the light in which the ignorance comes and goes. The knowledge, the wrong misconception, and the waker, dreamer, that wrong misconception knowledge of the world also comes and goes, manifests and unmanifests in Atma. If I remain as Atma, I can understand ignorance. I can understand ignorance means sleep state. I don't know anything. Full stop. That is one line answer to the question, what is ignorance? Ignorance is what I experience in my sleep state. Not what I experience in my waking state and dream state. What I experience in my waking state and dream state is called as adhyasa, superimposition. The sleeper has ignorance. The sleeper does not have superimposition. He does not have adhyasa. Waker has ignorance and superimposition. Dreamer has ignorance and superimposition. Last point, Brahman has no ignorance, no superimposition. That is my real nature. If I know Brahman as is without ignorance, without superimposition, I take that as my real nature. I drop the waker, dreamer, sleeper, hold on to that Brahman without ignorance, without superimposition. This, in short, is the methodology followed in Mandukya Upanishad. In 12 minutes, I've explained to you the gist of Mandukya. And that is the best place to understand ignorance.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. There's obviously follow-ups, but like you said, it's a very deeper topic.
It's a very deep topic, but it's an extremely, it requires a very, very subtle, agile mind to understand ignorance and to remove ignorance.
Yeah, not true. Very true. I'll look for the Mandukya classes.
Yeah, keep it going. You can still ask questions in the future, because it will not get resolved immediately, but let it rotate in your mind, let it revolve in your mind, but you will find an answer to that ignorance. There is another text called as Naishkarmya Siddhi. There is one full 1 page where Shankaracharya's disciple has written on ignorance, Naishkarmya Siddhi. I think it's chapter 2 of Naishkarmya Siddhi, which gives you that full. But of course, it's a very difficult text to understand. Before you go to Naishkarmya Siddhi, best is to understand Mandukya.
Okay.
Good. Anybody else?
No, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Shankarji,
Bolo.
the word ignorance means, is it to refuse to accept something which you don't believe?
Yeah, it is. Ignorance means that not that you refuse it. Ignorance means that you don't know. You don't know that you are Atma. It is not your fault. It's just that you don't know. It is not that you're refusing to accept something. You see, when you come to Bhagavad Gita or Upanishad, what the Upanishad is telling you is you are Atma. You are not the body. You are thinking that you are the body today. You get up in the morning, you say, I got up. And then I go to sleep. Again, I got up, I go to sleep. But what Upanishad says is what is getting up and what is sleeping is the mind. There is something which is beyond the mind. Okay? So it is to know that I am the Atma. Atma means there is something in me which is the spiritual content. Okay? The spiritual content is what the Bhagavad Gita wants to tell me, teach me. It is the Upanishad which want to teach me. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Babai. Manikandan, a summary of the verse 1. Yeah, okay. I just wrote this summary today before the class because I thought it might help you to understand whatever we discussed in the 7 talks which I gave. But this note of 10 points. Go through it. You will really enjoy it because this is the core. If you understand this, what 10 points, you have understood Vedanta. Good.
Shikhaji, if nobody has any questions, I would like to ask something.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, I'll rather prefer anybody else got a question, please.
Ask a question, then we'll take that person and then we'll go to Shanta again.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Shanta. There's nobody else.
Okay. I want to know whether Vedanta and Vedas believe in this Kundalini, an awakening of that, and the energy which is lying in your body as I mean, some, or I don't know, there is a different Shastra, or I don't know what it is, but that is also a concept which we learned, right? Has it got any connection, or does Veda believes in it?
Okay. Uh,
It's completely different.
Veda,
That's why I thought I'll
no,
ask you
no,
only
no,
if
no.
nobody has a question.
Yeah. See, Veda, okay, I'll tell you what Veda says. This topic of Kundalini and all that is handled by in a text called as Vichara Sagara.
Mm.
In that, there is there is a section of about 6 or 7 topics, about 10-15 pages in Vichara Sagara, which talks about this Shakti, and primarily this is discussed in Yoga Shastra. See, in Yoga Shastra, they believe that Samadhi state, and then in the Samadhi state, they talk about the different energy flow in the chakras, in the 7 chakras, and this energy remains in the body, and then it can grow. And the moment you start focusing on each of these chakras, what will happen is that you will be able to make that energy rise in you, which is called as Kundalini Shakti.
Yeah.
See, okay, now what Veda, I mean, so far, whatever I have read, this whole principle of is what Veda says is it is true. Experientially, it is true. You can experience the Shakti, you can experience the energy, you can experience your different lights which are coming inside your Antakaranam, all the different colors and all that, which the Veda says, yes, all this is true. The only thing Veda says, according to Shankaracharya, he says that it will purify your mind, but it is not the last station in your spiritual journey. You have to go beyond that. You have to go beyond that. Even if you have reached the highest point in this Yoga Shastra, and when you have come up to the Nirvikalpa Samadhi state, even if you have reached that highest state, it is an experiential sukha.
Okay.
It
So
is
it is yogam, that means. It is not Veda, the spiritual, it is the yoga.
No, it is not. It is the yogic method
level,
of spiritual sukha. It is this happiness or the bliss which you experience through samadhi state is experiential, but it is not the last stop. It is not the end of your journey. Veda says there is something beyond that.
Beyond that, okay. Yeah, no, because I'm just thinking, because many people say that once you have, got that Shakti, when it rises, people within 28 days either decide to leave this universe because they have achieved everything what they need to.
Oh, yeah,
so
yeah,
I was a bit surprised, because would that be moksha? Wouldn't be moksha, isn't it?
Not at all. See, Shankaracharya in his writings, he has said very clearly that this is this particular point about the Kundalini Shakti and all is post Shankara literature.
Okay.
It is all something which has come after Shankaracharya's period. And what he says is this samadhi, you see, why people get engrossed in this is because they experience some sort of a bliss, some sort of experiential joy. And then they have described this experiential joy in 3 grades. There is a book called as Jivan Mukti Viveka by Swami Vidyaranya. He says there are 3 grades of this joy: Brahmavit, Varaha, Variyan, Varishtaha. 3 grades. And he says that yogi believes that his only journey after achieving the Kundalini Shakti is to enjoy these 3 levels of joy, and he must sit in Samadhi throughout his life. There is nothing else he should do except this in his life. That is what the yogic science says. Even the author who has written this about Jivan Mukti Sukham, see what he says there is Jivan Mukta is a status which you can enjoy as a grihastha also, as a housewife, as a person in the family. You can enjoy that status of being Jivan Mukta. Jivan Mukta, the joy you may not get as a Vedantam. As by doing this Samadhi Abhyasa, you can get the joy. But that is not compulsory for moksha. What is required for moksha is to understand and remove the ignorance in your mind.
Okay.
Ignorance is gone or not gone. Even after the Kundalini Shakti, if you come back and say, I am a waker, I am experiencing this, I am the waking body and I am experiencing this waking world,
Then
you
you've
have
not
not
achieved
achieved
that.
moksha.
Okay.
Vedanta attacks directly on this ignorance principle. What Kannan today asked about, it directly attacks the ignorance which is there, the darkness which is there in the human intellect. The human intellect cannot perceive something beyond the sleep state. It is the Veda which has to come and wake you up and say, come on, don't think you're a sleeper. If you say you're a sleeper, you're ignorant. You're only claiming that you're ignorant. In your own mind, you see, you may not tell everybody outside and all that. In your own mind, you ask your question, I slept yesterday night. I've been sleeping from birth till date. Every day I go to sleep. It is the nature of the mind to go to sleep. It is the nature of the mind to wake up and experience the world. What Vedanta says is, you are not that mind.
Okay.
Drop the mind.
Now it's clear, yeah,
Ask,
because I was trying to understand whether actually it is accepted or not in Veda, but if it is the end of this yogic system or yogic life or their principle, then it still doesn't give you moksha, then it doesn't make you complete. So that is not the aim of, because some people do believe in all that. So I was just trying to clarify that.
I'm glad you asked this question, because this question is troubling many, many people. And why I'm giving you this answer is because it has been asked to acharyas in the past, and the acharyas have given this answer. And some very beautiful analysis on this topic has been made in this Vichara Sagara. Anyway, you got the the substance of it. So I think you try to go pursue the Vedantic knowledge for another 2 years. If you pursue it, I'm sure you will, all your questions which are troubling you will go away.
I hope so. Thank you.
Quite sure. I'm quite sure, because this group which is here today is a very intelligently formed group. I don't know how they all assembled here for these discussions, but it's a group which is very seriously involved in learning. See, that's what I like in this group. Okay, there's a question here. Can we meditate on consciousness without a form while doing mantra japa? Yes. See, you can meditate, but what is advised is, don't stay too long in a meditation without form. You can do it, but for a short time. You see, the mantra japa, what happens is, automatically your mind goes into a thoughtless mode. When you continuously do mantra japa for a few years, the mind by itself goes to a thoughtless mode. And acharyas tell us, don't stop there. Don't stop with the formless consciousness as your meditation. Initially, it's okay to get into thoughtless mode and meditate on consciousness. I am that What is most important is, in that meditation, if you can say, I am that consciousness, fantastic. And be aham chaitanya asmi. But bring this word, I am that Chaitanya, let that be a deliberate thought. That will make it a Vedantic meditation. And that will give you the fruit. It will give you the fruit. The benefit of that is your mind will get absorbed in the nature of Brahman. These are very high meditational techniques, but it's possible. Okay. I tried to fuse myself into it. Okay, that's fine. If you have any question, Lalita, if you want to ask any other question on this, you're free to speak. Okay. Bharat, I am reminded of Ishavasa. They do worship ignorance, enter into darkness. They do worship knowledge into greater darkness. It's okay. All right, fine. Lalita, I got your point. So here, yeah, Ishavasa Upanishad says that those who worship, they go into ignorance. And they enter darkness. Yeah, this is one concept which is mentioned in Ishavasya Upanishad that it needs a special explanation because it is a mind-twisting verse which Bharat is pointing out. Here, what we are talking about is the knowledge can also make you enter into more ignorance. The knowledge of the world, the knowledge of anatma, if you keep pursuing it as an object, you can enter into greater darkness. What will pull you out of the darkness is the knowledge of Atma. Good, Bharat. Anybody else has any other question or remarks?
Shekharji,
Yeah.
regarding the meditation, do you need an object or a subject to go for meditation?
You need what?
Kind of object or some kind of, this is a light in the heart or something like that. They meditate through the light or something.
No. Don't fall into that. The best form of meditation is just take one japa like Om Namah Shivaya. Just chant Om Namah Shivaya 10 times without any disturbance in your mind.
Oh.
You see, no other thought should come except Om Namah Shivaya.
So nothing required.
Should come. You see, suppose you chant Om Namah Shivaya and then suddenly you're thinking, what should I have for my breakfast today? Shall I make upma or idli? Then Om Namah Shivaya is gone. Again, bring it back and say Om Namah Shivaya.
Not by saying, let's say you meditate on Lord Krishna or Rama or whatever.
That is also another method. You can meditate on the form of Lord Krishna. See, suppose you keep a picture of Lord Krishna or a Shiva Linga in front of you before you start meditating, you'd see that picture. Then you close your eyes. Bring that picture into your mind. Hold on to the form of the picture for, say, 2-3 minutes. If you can hold on to that picture and do an abhisheka, like you do an abhisheka for the Lord outside in a Shiva Linga, mentally you do an abhisheka for the Lord. I put flowers, I put kumkum, I put water, I put, these are all mental exercises. Do these exercises. They are very, very beneficial. You can do it. Go ahead. If you have this habit of doing it, there are many, many people who have got tremendous benefits out of this. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
So don't forget, next week, next Saturday, there is no session. We will again meet on the week after that. So next Saturday is the 23rd. After that, we will be having a session on the 30th of September. So for 2 weeks, I mean, the 30th September, we'll have a session. Next Saturday, the 23rd, there is no session. Okay? And go through these notes of Taittriya Upanishad, and we'll go through them, and slowly we'll go deeper and deeper into Upanishad study. Okay? Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste, Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om, Secretary.
Thank you. Thank you, Bhavai.